Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.
Big snow and a big nor'easter along I-95, and we want to update you on the latest watches and alerts that are in effect. So there you can see into the darker blue areas, we are now getting some of these changing over to winter storm warnings across the Delmarva along the Jersey Shore. Still watches from, say, New York City on northward, but I do think during our show, during Storm Center, through 8 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to start to see those begin to change. So Carl just showed you that upper level piece of energy, our jet stream very active with a big dip, and that brings in the colder air to go along with that. And spin is going to be developing off the coast near Florida actually by tomorrow morning. We're going to have rising motion to the air, the pressure is going to start to fall, and a storm really starts to take shape as it moves through the Atlantic. Now that's going to bring all that moisture then up and over into the very cold air back behind our cold front, and that's what's going to spell our snowstorm here. Snowfall rates are expected to be very heavy, but we're going to have very cold temperatures in place too, and so that is going to bring in a very light, fluffy snow. In addition to all of this, we have those strong upper level jet that helps provide lift into the atmosphere too. So a very dynamic system that we're talking about. And we have a blocking high here in the southeastern parts of Canada. And this is a strong high. That's what's helping to pull in the cold Arctic air. And the differences between the pressure helps to drive that wind. So the wind is really going to be strong as this ramps up. That's going to lead to some of the coastal flooding issues that we're expecting, and what could ultimately lead to those blizzard warnings that we've been talking about, because it's about the wind speed driving down your visibility and the length of time that you'll be dealing with those very dangerous conditions. So timing it out for you. So this is what our official Weather Channel forecast looks like. There you see the snow developing. Places like D.C. and Baltimore will get a little snow out of this. It's not going to be a lot, and it's going to be on the front end on things. And this all gets started late Friday, really ramping up into your Saturday. This is going to be all day long on Saturday. I-95 getting in to some of the heaviest of snowfall. But look as that low gets a little bit closer towards the Cape, and you can see those isobars, or those lines of equal pressure, very close together. This is going to be the peak and the height of the storm, with the strongest of winds, with the heaviest of snowfall rates, and really the worst of conditions before it begins to pull out Saturday night and into Sunday morning. Snowfall totals, how much are we going to get? This is our latest forecast. There's still a little bit of wiggle room between now and the main event because a lot of different variables, but more than a foot of snow can be expected. All along, we've thought southeastern parts of New England has the most likely chance to see the worst impacts, but still, even parts of New Jersey stretching down towards the Delmarva, that's where we could get 5 to 8 inches of snow. And even though, Tevin, some of the bigger cities might not have huge snow numbers, they're still going to have, and it really changes the ball game, doesn't it? Power outages, certainly a possibility. This is going to lead to that coastal flooding. And, you know, snow amounts are going to vary, but more people will be affected by the wind ultimately than anything else. And it's going to be hard to measure that snow when it's blowing all over the place, and it's going to be a light, fluffy snow. A lot of the reason why that will be is this, the thing that we've all been complaining about for a while now, especially in the upper Midwest, but that really cold Arctic air is settling into the Northeast behind our cold front. So here is a look at our forecast temperatures as we head through tonight and into tomorrow, leading up to the storm coming here on Friday night and into your Saturday. Look at these numbers. They're in the lower 20s at best and go well down into the teens at worst. You add those winds on top of it, and the feels-like temperatures are going to be well below that. So if you get stuck in a blizzard with conditions like this, it really can be very dangerous and very life-threatening. So when we take a look at forecasting for snowfall amounts, one of the things we look at is how dry the air is, but also how cold the air is. And that can really have a big difference in the type of snow and the amount of snow. Now, on average, we say for every 1 inch of rain or liquid equivalent, you would get 10 inches of snow. But when the temperatures are colder, down into the upper teens, you get a 20-to-1 ratio. And where they're even colder than that, closer to 10, 12 degrees, you can have ratios as much as 30-to-1. And so that's another tricky thing about forecasting sometimes. So we're going to be somewhere in this 20-to-1, I think, range. And that's going to be a light, fluffy snow that adds up. But Tevin, it's also going to blow all over the place and make visibility very, very difficult. If anybody's trying to travel, you just shouldn't do it. And on the North Shore, we could have some really significant coastal flooding there. So we just talked in the last block, I hope you were with us for that, about some of the discrepancies and difficulties we've had and challenges forecasting this because of the modeling leading up towards the storm. So guess what? The hurricane hunters are here to the rescue. They're here and they are taking off, or they did take off from Biloxi, and are working and sampling the atmosphere out in the Atlantic right now to gather more data, to give us a better idea, put that data into the models of what could be happening here with our big winter storm developing. So we know we've got this big trough settling in. We know we have a big area of vorticity and spin and upper low associated with this. That will force a surface low to develop off the coast, likely somewhere near Florida, South Carolina by tomorrow morning. That will work its way northward, bringing all that moisture into our bitterly cold air, which is already sinking in across parts of the Northeast right now. Upper level conditions very favorable, those winds diverging and increasing in strength, which helps provide lift into the atmosphere, which can really help create a dynamic system and give us some really heavy snowfall rates. We are expecting that at least. And then as our low intensifies, this could even bomb out as the pressure continues to drop. We've got a blocking high up here, which is a key necessary ingredient to get our big snows. But the difference in the pressure is so great. That's why we could be talking about hurricane force wind gusts in some of these coastal areas, and why the coastal flooding is expected to be so bad with this event as well, Tevin. I think we're going to get blizzard warnings before all is said and done.
Storm Center, where we track weather happening here at home and all around the globe. I'm meteorologist Tevin Wooten.
And I'm meteorologist Jacqui Jeras. We have our storm specialist Carl Parker. He's on the radar today, and he's going to be joining us in just a minute. But of course, our big weather story is Winter Storm Keenan, bringing a big wintry threat to the Northeast. It's not just the snow, it's going to be the wind, it's going to be the coastal flooding. We have a lot of impacts that are headed your way.
Yeah, that's right. The National Weather Service out of Boston saying places like Boston, be aware of life-threatening conditions. As always, here on Storm Center, we do begin with the active weather watches and warnings that we have across the board. You tally everything up. 51.9 million Americans under some form of a winter alert, which, of course, a lot of these coming from Winter Storm Keenan. Winter weather advisories for 7 million Americans. Well, a bit more pressing, winter storm warnings for some 2.2 million Americans at this hour.
That number is going to go up. Probably going to get some blizzard warnings out of this as well. All right, this is the snow coming down in White Bear Lake, Minnesota, where temperatures have been warmer than as of late, but still mighty chilly, even in my book. Highs today we're in the 20s, getting down below zero yet again tonight, but you know, it looks pretty. It's fresh snow. It's not like the dirty snow that's been sitting there forever. All right, I want to take you to the northeast coast, where we see the frozen ice that's been broken up here on the Cape of Massachusetts. So they get those little tugs out there and they break it up so that it doesn't stay solid, right? And so everything can still move along. Of course, this is in advance of Winter Storm Keenan that's going to be affecting the area this weekend. All
right, we're getting close to the top of the hour here on Storm Center. You know what that means. We get a check on the radar. And for that, we send it over to storm specialist Carl Parker. Hey, Carl.